Good morning, kids, and welcome back to a brand new video of Fox Flicks on Wikizilla. And what's this? We finally reached the end of the list that was recommended to us. But the one, the only, Ghogo? I'll be honest, I have no idea what this is at all. So let's just hop in and see what we can learn about this Furby-looking creature.
Before Furby, there was Ghogo.
Now, look at that thing and tell me that thing does not look like some kind of monster Furby. So, again, let's find out what we can learn about this freak of nature. Finally here.
Hey KAIJU fans, I'm Les, here to profile the treasure of the Nilaikanai, Ghogo.
Huh.
This fuzzy water fairy spent
light.
most of Rebirth of Mothra 2 being carried by children and or fleeing from a pair of greedy fishermen and the tiny woman on a cybernetic dragon bossing them around. But he came clutch in the film's climax, sacrificing himself to allow Mothra Leo to attain two more powerful forms and destroy the evil sea monster Dagara.
Huh. So it's like some kind of key monster?
Ghogo was designed by anime and picture book.
Okay, look at that! This thing would have been so much cuter! Well, it's just a fluff ball with eyes and a single antenna. But no, we get this freaky looking abomination.
Artist Yasuko Ambiru, with Shinji Nishikawa contributing at least one idea for a legless version. Unlike a lot of Heisei-era monsters, there aren't any especially wild pieces of concept art. Ambiru seems to have grokked the right look pretty quickly.
This is not.
Kyoji Maeda of Up Art produced 9 total props for Ghogo, including a radio-controlled close-up prop, a remote-controlled close-up prop, and 7 action props. The 2 close-up props consisted of fiber-reinforced plastic, FRP, cores fitted with mechanisms to remotely control their eyes. The props were covered with a Japanese fabric called boa, often used for plush toy stuffing.
Huh, yeah, okay. Now the history of this freak.
Shortly after a strange red starfish attacked a fisherman off the coast of Okinawa,
Ooh,
two other local
fast.
fishermen, Mikio Kotani and Junichi Nagase, encountered a small fuzzy creature. He leapt at Mikio, who swatted him back into the water, causing him to drop a gold ring. Believing they'd discovered a new species, the two resolved to capture it. A young girl, Shiori, encountered the fuzzy creature while picking flowers. Both were equally terrified at first, but she managed to befriend him. She soon ran afoul of 2 school bullies, Kohei and Yoji. Just as they caught her, Belvera, wicked sister of Mothra's priestesses, Mole and Laura, appeared on Garu Garu.
Yeah, okay.
She informed them that the creature was called Ghogo, and of course, demanded that Shiori hand him over. Shiori gave her the basket containing Ghogo, only to slip him out and run away. As Belvera and the boys gave chase, Mole and Laura arrived on ferry. As the laser beams flew, Belvera revealed to her sisters that she planned to use Ghogo to obtain the miraculous treasure of Nilaikanai. Shiori and the boys tossed Ghogo to each other, keeping Belvera at bay long enough to reach a heavily populated beach, and she retreated. Ghogo, seeing that Yoji injured his knee during the chase, healed it with water.
Yeah.
Mole and Laura formally introduced themselves to the kids.
Look, like I said, we have no idea what the hell this thing is, so let's just learn.
At their school, they researched Nilaikanai, which according to Okinawan legend was a magical kingdom that sank into the Pacific Ocean 12,000 years ago, also known as Mu. Translating Gogo's conversation with Fairy, Mole and Laura learned that Dagara, a monster created by Nilaikanai to consume pollution, had returned, with the Barem he produced threatening to choke the world's oceans.
Oh, damn.
Elias vowed to stop him using Nilaikanai's treasure. Commandeering the computer, Ghogo instructed them to take him to the coast of Ishigaki Island. That night, Shiori and the boys stole their teacher's canoe and set sail, with the fishermen, now in Belvera's employ, following them on a water scooter.
How?
After they found the submerged ruins of the Nilaikanai pyramid, Ghogo dove into a small opening, causing a beam of green light to shoot into the sky and pulling the kids into a water tunnel, which ended inside a room with a stone lion. Suddenly, the entire pyramid rose to the surface, allowing Fairy to enter and blast one of the Barem that followed them in. Dagara arrived to attack the pyramid, but rays from the stone statues flanking it drove him off. Mole and Laura flew off to summon Mothra Leo, tasking the kids with finding the treasure. The fishermen abducted Shiori and Ghogo, only to lose both of them after Ghogo scratched Junichi's hand. Bouncing through the temple with determination, Ghogo led Shiori across an invisible bridge and soon reunited with the boys. Meanwhile, Mothra Leo engaged Dagara, seeming to gain the upper hand with repeated blasts of his sparkling pile load. Dagara retaliated from underwater with a thundering toxic crimson vortex which enveloped Leo and left him covered in berem.
That actually
With
is
the
kind of
pyramid's
cool.
aid, the Guardian managed to collapse on top of the structure. The fishermen tracked down the kids and Ghogo again, but Mole and Laura intervened, destroying their spear gun. Cowed, they apologized, only for Mikio to grab Kohei and Garu to shoot down Fairy. The door in front of them all suddenly opened.
Well,
Inside, they found massive statues, 2 with impressive orange gems
like
on their
scientific.
foreheads. Mikio and Belvera retrieved them, causing the doors to close. An enormous regal hologram of Princess Yuna took form at the center of the room and wordlessly sent Junichi flying with a blast of lightning.
Ooh,
The Elias
shit.
made their cases for possession of the treasure, Belvera wanting to use it to wipe out humanity, Mole and Laura striving to save it. Yuna explained that long ago, both Nilai Kanai and Dagara were buried by an earthquake just as the civilization's greatest scientists created a treasure to protect it.
Oh,
That
yeah?
treasure was not an object, however, but Ghogo.
Oh.
Belvera lunged for him, but a force field stopped her. Having crawled on top of the pyramid, Dagara tried to finish Leo. His weight quickly caused the structure to crumble. Yuna instructed Shiori to bring Ghogo to Mothra, then stopped a statue from falling on them with a
Whoa.
force field. The humans resolved to put their differences aside to escape, with
Just get
Shiori
out of
using
there.
Ghogo to heal Junichi after he was injured by rubble.
Oh,
They crossed
gross.
a bridge which shattered immediately afterwards, triggering a firestorm. As more doors closed, they seemed to be trapped, but Garu tripped a switch at the last moment, shutting another door and saving them. Belvera acknowledged her sisters before flying off. As they made it outside, the statues and Yuna granted Leo another burst of energy to knock back Dagara, giving Shiori time to present Ghogo to him. The little creature started glowing and floated above Leo, bestowing his life force to transform him into Rainbow Mothra.
Huh.
Dagara
So it did pretty much what Mothra did in that one Godzilla movie.
was no match for this new form, his rays reflecting off an invisible shield, but found no solace underwater either, as Rainbow Mothra transformed into Aqua Mothra to ravage him from the inside.
Damn.
Reverting to Rainbow Mothra, he dropped Dagara on top of the pyramid, then liquefied them both. The humans, having safely
That
made it
is
to the
cool.
shore, heard the voice of the hologram, reminding them that the future is in their hands. Shiori revealed the gift Ghogo left her, a single pearl she imagined as the Earth.
Oh, okay. That explains that. We'll be right back. I've said it once and I'll say it again. This is the most confusing monster I've ever seen.
Though hardly a fighter, Ghogo struck Junichi hard enough for him to let the water spirit and Shiori escape. Like a lot of the small-scale violence in this movie, it happens off-camera. It could have been a
Course it
scratch, since his claws were right there, or it could have been a bite, which seems to have been the intent of the sound effect. Ghogo, of course, doesn't have an obvious mouth with all that fur, but he did have one sculpted in at least one stage of prototyping.
Oh,
Ghogo
okay.
can move through the water with surprising speed, given his tiny claws. Ghogo is able to leap several times his own height, allowing him to quickly travel through the halls of the Nilai Kanai Pyramid.
Thing
He's
bouncing
not
like
always
a
the most
cubby.
graceful creature, at one point seeming to just hurl himself down a flight of stairs. He also levitated briefly.
On two separate occasions,
Ghogo
yeah.
survives some serious punishment for such a little thing during the chase in the forest. Shiori accidentally throws him into a tree, and Yoji
Ow.
lands on top of him when he flies onto the beach. Earlier in the film, he also seemingly shrugged off a whack from a fishing spear.
Whack.
During his first encounter with Shiori, Gogo's eyes bugged out to cartoonish proportions as he did a backflip in fright. This moment probably wasn't meant to be taken literally, but whatever, this section needs padding. Gogo was able
This
to
thing is-
communicate telepathically with Fairy
What?
and generate images on a Power Macintosh 7600-200. No word on if he's compatible with Windows or Linux.
Ah, okay, that's
Gogo's
funny.
far and away most memorable feat was to secrete what official sources describe as hopeful water. This water healed a scrape on Yoji's knee, as well as more extensive injuries to Mikio, who crackled with energy afterwards. And yes, according to Rebirth of Mothra 2,
Hold on. That is actually kind of cool. It pees on you, heals you, and now you're literally surging with energy. What is this thing?
Super Complete works, his sacrifice to transform Mothra Leo into Rainbow Mothra was also a use of this ability. Yeah.
What is this? I got
If you're
so
a
many
Godzilla
questions.
fan in the West, especially if you were brought up in the 90s through early 2010s, you're probably aware of Toho's trademark icons. You know, these. Not every Toho monster has one.
Oh, look,
There
Aqua
aren't
Mothra.
ones for Maguma, Matango, the Yamato Takaru creatures, and until IDW got their hands on them, there weren't ones for Sanda or Gaira either. Would you be surprised to find out then that both the Barem and Ghogo have official icons? Yep. Ghogo's was used at least once on licensed merchandise back in 2003,
Yeah,
though it's
it is.
seemingly never been used since. Kinda odd, huh? The English dub of Rebirth of Mothra 2 pronounces Ghogo's name as Gorgo, which happens to be the name of the titular character from a 1961 giant monster film.
Oh,
Both
hey,
Gorgos are
accident.
doggedly pursued by two seamen hoping for fame and fortune, but the resemblances end there, to put it mildly. Although
Yeah,
Gorgo is
clearly.
set in the UK and many British expats were involved in the dubbing of Toho's films in Hong Kong, it probably wasn't an intentional reference, as several Japanese books use the name as well.
Huh.
You'd think
Well, okay.
Ghogo was designed specifically to sell kids life-size plushies, but in fact the only toy of his released contemporary to Rebirth of Mothra 2 was a finger puppet included in the Bandai figure set. Cast also made an ornament of him in 2012, and another in 2021 with Ghogo peeing, releasing hopeful water. Aside from those ornaments, Toho
What?
has basically forgotten that Ghogo exists in the 21st century. He did put in a few appearances in non-film media before then, though. The digest manga included in the Mothra 2 special graphics book has the Elias and Shiori spot his visage on Mothra's wing, indicating he, or his spirit, lives on within the Divine Moth. Meanwhile,
Okay, no,
the
that's good.
Besat's
That's
Korokoro
good.
comic special manga adaptation reimagined him as an even more cutesy thing, but he's reduced to a mere MacGuffin. Princess Yuna's ghost presents him as the treasurer of Nilai Kanai and explains that his heart is able to grant only one wish. Kohei, here the main character, really wants to bring back his dead, I guess, mother, but ultimately asks for the near-death Mothra to be revitalized. As a little extra,
sacrifice,
Ghogo
okay.
either transforms into or conjures the spirit of Kohei's mom, and then they fly out Dragon Ball Z style. Upon colliding with the
This
Lepidoptera,
makes no
Aqua
sense!
Mothra is born, and Dagara is subsequently torn to shreds. Ghogo was also the only major monster to emerge from the Tentomushi Comics Mothra manga with a scrap of dignity. Although the poor thing was introduced trapped inside a claw machine, his antenna is quite versatile here, able to pick locks and extend to form a hoop. On the video game
okay,
front,
that's not
he
too
was
bad.
naturally one of the available pets in the 97 Mothra Tamagotchi game. He evolves from Fairy, if you can believe it, who in turn evolves from a Mothra or Batra grub. Finally, he's in the similar
Okay.
Mothra Dream Battle for the Dreamcast VMU, and an effect card in the PlayStation game Godzilla Trading Battle. They're called Fairy Ghogo. Until Heisei era nostalgia finally includes the Rebirth of Mothra trilogy, that's all we have for Ghogo. Now go watch Chibi Godzilla Raise again.
I have no idea what to say about this thing because I am 1000% lost. All I can say is my regular outro. I hope you all enjoyed this. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link to the original will be in the description below, and I'll see you kids next time when we flick back on. This is Fox signing out. Peace.